Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to Hard Truths, the podcast that doesn't stroke your ego, it slaps you with reality. Today's episode? It's about comfort and how that nice, cozy life you built for yourself might be exactly the reason you're not leveling up. We're going to get into why comfort is a silent killer of growth, how being the smartest person in your friend group is a red flag, and why your fear of losing what you have is stopping you from reaching what you could have. Because here's the thing, if your life is too comfortable, you're probably not doing shit that matters. Let's talk about it. Let me tell you what lit this fire. There's someone in my life who constantly talks about wanting more, bigger life, more money, success, freedom. And he could have it all. He's got no kids, no debt, makes decent money, and best of all, he lives at home, rent free. See, you'd think that that's a perfect setup to make bold moves, right? But instead of taking steps forward, he's still standing still. I've given him some advice. Showed him how to leverage his income, how to buy a home, how to start building real wealth. But he's paralyzed by fear. Worried he won't be able to pay the bills. Then he turns around and fawns over his friends who have houses or are ahead, only to brush it off like, yeah, well, they make more money than me. But here's what he doesn't get. They didn't start at the top. They just started. And eventually, I had to call him out. I said, you know what? You're getting screwed, man. You're 30, you live at home, you keep talking like you want more, but you're too damn comfortable. And that comfort, it's killing your potential. And yeah, maybe that sounds harsh, but sometimes the truth has to be harsh to be heard. So here's why this mindset is so common and so dangerous. It all comes down to a psychological concept called loss aversion. Now, loss aversion is part of behavioral economics, and it means this. We feel the pain of losing something much more intensely than we feel the pressure of gaining something of equal value. Let's say you find $100 on the ground. You feel good, right? Now imagine you lose $100 from your wallet. That stings. It's more intense. Even though the value is the same, the emotional impact of loss hits harder. Now apply that to your life. You're scared to leave your job, even if it's draining you, because you fear losing that security. You stay in the same friend group, even if they're holding you back, because you don't want to lose that comfort. You avoid taking risks with your money, time, or even ideas, because you're scared of losing what little stability you've built. And that fear, it keeps you frozen. Here's a real-world analogy. Imagine you're holding a handful of sand. You're so afraid of dropping a single grain that you never move your hand. But while you stand there gripping tightly, opportunity walks right past you. Loss aversion creates this false illusion that playing it safe is the smart move. But in reality, it's costing you your potential. See, because by staying stuck, you're not just avoiding risk, you're avoiding growth. And that's the bigger loss. So if you've been telling yourself, I don't want to risk what I have, ask yourself, what is staying safe actually costing you? Comfort gives you just enough satisfaction to stay mediocre. It whispers, don't take that risk. You've got it good here. And before you know it, a decade passes. and you've done nothing but coast. Here's the hard truth. You can't grow and stay comfortable at the same time. Let's take this a step further with another visual. Imagine you're standing on a small island. The view is fine, the weather's decent, and you've built a little shack. You've got food and water. That's not bad, but it's not thriving. You know there's a bigger, better island just across the water. But the journey to get there, it's rough. There are waves, there's risk, there's discomfort. So most people stay put, not because they love the island they're on, but because they're afraid of the swim. That's what comfort does. It makes average look acceptable. It convinces you to settle for a life that's good enough, even when you know you're built for more. But here's the thing. Growth lives on the other side of that swim. Champions aren't made in the shack. They're made in the current, in the struggle, in the cold waters that most people never step into. So ask yourself, are you choosing safety or potential? Okay, now let's talk about something just as dangerous as comfort. Your circle. If you're the highest earner in your group, the most motivated, the one everyone comes to for advice, let me tell you something. You've already hit your ceiling. Think about this. When was the last time someone in your circle challenged you, made you question your goals, pushed you to level up? Most people stay in circles that feel safe, circles that tell them they're doing well, even when deep down they know they're coasting. It's validation without evolution. And this is exactly what happens with the guy I mentioned. He's the best in his crew, the guy with the good job. So in his world, he feels ahead. But that's just an illusion. He's only ahead relative to a slow-moving crowd. In the real world, he's standing still. You are the average of the people you spend the most time with, and I've always said that. That's not a motivational quote. It's actually a math equation too. See, if everyone around you avoided risk, guess what you'll do? If everyone around you lives for the weekend, guess how you'll spend your energy? If no one around you is building something bigger, pushing limits, doing hard shit, you won't either. Your environment becomes your standard. And if your standard is mediocrity, your outcomes will be too. So look around. Are your friends playing big or playing small and dragging you with them? If no one around you makes you uncomfortable with how bold you're thinking, you're in the wrong damn room. There's a quote I live by. You can have comfort or you can have growth. You can't have both. Think about that. Every level up in life, whether it's career, fitness, finances, mindset, comes with pain, discomfort, failure, and risk. But that's the price of progress. So if you're choosing comfort every time, you're also choosing to stay where you are, and you gotta own that. Look, if you've been playing it safe, surrounded by yes men, clinging to what's familiar, waiting for the right moment, this is your wake-up call. Growth is messy, risky, uncomfortable, but it's real. You don't level up by accident. You do it by getting uncomfortable on purpose, by cutting off what's familiar, by walking into rooms where you're the underdog and grinding until you're not. So here's the challenge. Change your circle. Change your habits. Change your damn standards. Because staying in your comfort zone, that's the most dangerous place you can be. And that's it for this episode of Hard Truths. If this episode shook something loose in you, good. That's the point. Tag me at DANNYLYVIN and let me know what's one comfort you're finally ready to let go of. And if you know someone who's stuck, send them this episode. Not to shame them, but to show them there's more. This is Hard Truths. Until next time, don't die comfortable. Die fulfilled.